Welcome back to Double Switch, ladies and gentlemen. I am now going to show you how to get an A rank in this game. And this is going to be a beefer of a video, ladies and gentlemen. Because, yeah, this game is at least 25 minutes long, but those 25 minutes, I swear, feels like hours. And like I mentioned in the playthrough, I've gone through so many attempts to get this A rank. I think I've gone like maybe 6 to 7 attempts. I've gone to the point to where I at least do a clean sweep in Act 1. That's just how much time I've spent on trying to get this A rank on this game. So it is much difficult than Night Trap in that aspect, because as I mentioned before, this game has random captures. And it is not linear like Night Trap, so like there is a walkthrough for this game, but you know, you're not going to be able to just pinpoint where to go to get each capture, you know.
Seeing your face in a movie, and I'm crying at the moon, and I call that tunnel vision, and I'm scratching the
I think I am Team Double Switch. Just answer my own question from the first video. But yeah, so tips that I can give you, at least for Act 1, because getting the captures is fairly easy. Because all you gotta do is just keep an eye in the storage room to keep the intruders away from the power box. And as I mentioned throughout this entire playthrough, you just gotta keep an eye on the notification camera feeds on the left side of the screen here. Meanwhile, we still gotta go on ahead and get the numbers for the lock. Because in Act 1, we gotta collect the numbers for the lock to get Eddie out of the basement. Like I said, I have made so many attempts in this entire playthrough to get the A rank. And I can pretty much tell you that you have to at least have no more than 30 escaped. You have to have at least below the number of 30 escaped. Otherwise, that's not an A rank. You have to at least have 0 retries, which means you cannot get a game over whatsoever.
May I help you?
Yeah, we're not.
Look, you're letting the handyman run all over the building. He's trying to screw things up for us. Trap him whenever you can.
Looking for Brutus.
I don't believe I know him, Mr. Brutus. Well, perhaps the name is familiar. I may have met him at some point. Oh, yes. Now I know the gentleman you fellas are looking for. He's in room 232.
And I figure, just like I did with Night Trap, I am going to let most of the cutscenes play out in Double Switch. Because why not? You know, it gives me a little bit of breathing space and gather my thoughts on what else I need to say during this entire playthrough. Because I don't want to sound like a broken record and be like, hey, you gotta keep an eye on intruders, or hey, you gotta keep an eye on the storage room, or hey, you gotta keep an eye on this and that and the other, and I'm just gonna sound like a broken record. Gonna sound like a broken record. Gonna sound like a broken record. Broken record. Broken record. 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 You get the point, right? Now, this is where things are going to get a little tricky here, because immediately, as soon as you get that second number, get that third number. And like I said, I have done this so many times to where I know when to capture intruders in this entire act. It's a clean sweep. I'm actually quite proud of myself for this clean sweep run for Act 1. Now, my only complaint here is that why are the scrolling key guys introduced so early in this game, early on, right? because we don't get a fair introduction to them until Act 2. So why not introduce them then to add a little bit of more difficulty in Act 2? I don't know. I guess to add a little bit of more challenge to Act 1, I couldn't tell you.
Luigi?
2 weeks are up, my friend.
I got 2 more hours.
I definitely would recommend that if you're going to go through this game and do an A rank run, definitely have the notifications to where it's modernized so you can see the live camera feed.
There was treasure buried in this building. Why am I gonna make...
Because, yeah, I mean, see how easier it is just to keep an eye on the live camera feeds?
Time's up.
And remember, you gotta save Bruce right there, otherwise that's a game over.
You tell Luigi and Mario their days are numbered!
Meanwhile, we gotta keep an eye out on that final room where we can get the final number for that combination lock. Which is fairly soon, like right now. So yeah, only tips I can give you is make sure to have your notification screens to where it's modernized so that you can see the live camera feeds. And then just make a good call on when to capture which intruder in each video, right?
Ah! Great! Great! You got the code number, great! Oh, you're good! You're very, very good! I'm out of here. Alright, let me level with you. I'll tell you what's really going on around here. I think there's a killer in the building, and I think I know who it is, and I'm gonna nail the sucker. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch the basement camera on for you. Keep an eye on my place. Don't let nobody knows around here. Code numbers.
I think I did amazing during Act 1. I got all captures. All captures. Unfortunately, I can't really say the same for Act 2 or Act 3 because starting in Act 2 is where the difficulty cranks up quite a bit. Because now we have the mobster intruders as well as the scrolling key intruders. And again, you want to make sure that you keep that number below 30 for the escaped counter. Because if you don't, well, then you're not going to get that A rank run.
All right? This is my building, mine. If it wasn't for me, this place would be Crater City. Now, if you mess with me, you're gonna get it. You got it? Well, we'll see about that. The old man just doesn't get it, does he?
You know, he may not get it, but I do, Eddie. I'm sure the rest of the people that has watched this playthrough has also gotten it. But yeah, anyway, this game's difficulty gets cranked up quite a bit. And like I said, as I mentioned, like back in Act 1, I don't know why they didn't introduce their scrolling keys guy in this act, because this is where we get properly introduced to the scrolling key members, right? So it would make sense that we can capture the scrolling key guys, and I fucked up right there. Yeah, it's weird because unlike Night Trap, like I mentioned, you have to click on the trap itself 3 times before you're able to enable it, right? Also, there is a way that you can overload the traps. Like, say you have enabled the trap at least twice in one room, because that's where the bottom indicator tells you, right? Like, it will indicate just how much power you have until it overloads, right? Because you can't overload the trap systems. And if you overload the trap systems, then you're not going to be able to capture any of the intruders. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I am definitely not going to be a broken record. All I can say is just keep an eye on those 2 certain rooms, because if you don't, well, then that's a game over. Thankfully, there are 2 checkpoints in this entire game, which is at the beginning of Act 1 and the beginning of Act 3. And that's another thing I can actually tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, because throughout my practice run for this A rank run in particular, if you happen to get your number over 30 in your escaped count, and if you happen to get a game over,
Yeah, sure.
I would recommend just hitting the escape button right there, because at least
Watch out for this one.
if you hit the escape button before the actual game over screen shows up, then you don't have to worry about your stats, right? You don't have to worry about your stats being the way they are. Like, they will be remained alone. That was a sentence. Your stats will remain unchanged, is what I meant to say. And yeah, that's what I would recommend if you're going to do an A rank run, because there's nothing wrong with taking mulligans, right? Right?
No, nobody was injured, but just don't put me on hold again. No! Well, don't bother to knock.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Meanwhile, while all this is going on, you gotta make sure to capture the intruders.
No, not there. Over here, please. Check this out.
I'm scratching all through.
And meanwhile, you gotta make sure that the band members are safe, because if you don't, well, that's a game over.
All right, I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. This game is fucking crazy. This game is fucking crazy, and I love it so much. I love Double Switch more than Night Trap, if I do say so myself. It is probably one of the better games between the 2. Now, I'm not knocking Night Trap, because Night Trap is a fine game as is, but I just think Double Switch offers more replay value than Night Trap, right? Did I say that Night Trap has more replay value than Night Trap? Because I meant to say that Double Switch has more replay value than Night Trap.
That's good, Jeff. That's really good. Who are you supposed to be, Ramses? No, Tutmos?
Meanwhile, remember to disable the trap that the mummy is trying to enable, and then try to enable the new traps that Lyle the Handyman has shown us to trap the mummies. Mummies? I meant mummy. I swear, my speech is so good tonight. Anyway, I'm really trying to focus, because it's crazy. In the middle of everything else, trying to keep an eye on Lyle the Handyman to get the traps, and then knowing where to go to capture which intruder, because I'm going to tell you right now, there is no way, no absolute way that you're going to get a clean sweep across all 3 acts in this entire game, right? There's just no way. And if there is, well, I would certainly love to see it.
There you are.
And maybe there is, and I just suck at this game. But you know what? I don't care. I like to say I've gotten a lot better compared to my casual run. Jesus, an F rank, really? Anyway, as soon as we're introduced to that new trap in the band room, make sure to save Brutus. Yeah, there's just no way, because there's going to be like multiple intruders stepping on different traps in separate rooms, right? And there's just no way that you can switch back and forth and get the damn intruder. There's just no way. So there's no way you're gonna get a clean sweep across all 3 acts. I mean, not to spoil anything, but I at least let half of my intruders escape in this entire run in Act 2. So if I could recommend something, if you know how and know when to capture each intruder in Act 1, I would recommend trying your hardest to get a clean sweep in Act 1 if you're trying to get an A rank run. Because at least then you'll have an easier time on getting an A rank like that, right? Of course, you'll have to be diligent in Act 2 and Act 3.
Jeff, look out!
What's up?
My God, it's not a joke. It's dangerous.
Hey. Come on, man. Chill out, chill out. No! Here we go.
So crazy. So crazy. And I don't know what else to say without having to sound like a broken record at this point, ladies and gentlemen, because I pretty much said what I needed to say throughout this entire playthrough. I've given you the best tips that I can give you, and I'm hoping that this video will serve as a... Did he rip his pants? I just realized he ripped his pants, holy shit! Wow, I lost my train of thought because I didn't know he ripped his pants. I hope this video serves as a good tutorial to show you a basic run on how to get an A rank run.
Do you know why he hates me?
Nope, don't care. I don't know how I got that capture. But that was pretty much my reaction too. That was pretty much my reaction when I got that capture. I felt pretty damn good about myself. Everything about this game is amazing. And it does help that there is amazing star power behind this game. I mean, we got Corey Haim that plays as Eddie. We have, I think her name is Debbie Harris, that plays as Elizabeth. And then, oh man, I am spacing out on that guy's name. I think his name is Parley Members or something like that. I'll put his name proper. I feel terrible because, I mean, that man is a legend. A lot of people know him from Full Metal Jacket, and he was amazing in that film. May he rest in peace. Yeah, he definitely ripped his pants, though.
I'm sorry. I'll explain later. I have to get the statue out of the building now.
Can you keep a secret?
Well, not like I'm going to be able to hear that secret anyway. Because I still gotta keep an eye on these intruders. My end goal for Act 2, ladies and gentlemen, is to make sure that at the very least, I let 15 escape. Let no more than 15 escape, because if I don't, well then I'm gonna have a harder time in Act 3. Act 3 may be the shortest, but like I mentioned before, Act 3 is also the hardest.
Wait a second. That ties in with all the rumors about treasure in this building.
by surprise, though. I mean, are we truly expecting Lyle the Handyman to be the bad guy here? Like, really? I don't know, but we're at the end of Act 2, ladies and gentlemen. Once we capture this guy, that's when Act 3 will begin. And, I haven't really talked so much in Act 3 because there was so much going on. So much cutscenes I wanted to show off, but I can at least talk more here. So in Act 3, ladies and gentlemen, we have to keep an eye on Eddie and make sure that he does not reach the tenants. Otherwise, that's a game over. Because Eddie has been revealed to be the bad guy in this entire game. Who would have thought? And I truly believe that Act 3 is the hardest out of the entire game, right? I don't know how I have missed my chance at capturing that woman. And that guy is just fucking goofy. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Act 3 is the hardest. And we still gotta keep an eye on Eddie and make sure that we capture him so he doesn't harm the tenants. Meanwhile, I only can let 13 more intruders escape. Well, technically, I can only let 12 more intruders escape. Because even if that number is 30, then that's a rank B. It's not going to be a rank A. And it gets so tight on which intruders you need to capture because they are coming by swarm, ladies and gentlemen. And we do gotta protect Lyle the Handyman because if we don't, well, then that's another game over. But yeah, not much more I can really say, ladies and gentlemen. The only tips I can give you is to make sure that you have your notification icons to the modern. And I would definitely recommend the PC layout over any other layout that this game offers because I think it looks more sleek. Sleek? Is that the word I'm looking for? It looks more slick and clean. Another tip I can give you, ladies and gentlemen, is to just keep an eye out on the door and the window notification on each of the camera feeds because you'll at least get a good idea on what trap to use. At least I think that's how that works. I'm not 100% sure because these captures can be so random. So very random. And at this point, ladies and gentlemen, as much as I love Double Switch, at this point in time, I am so fixated on getting an A rank here. Because look at my escape count. Look at my escape count.
I designed the system. Me.
Technically, we can only let 29 escape. So, yeah. I can only let, like, 5 more escape. That's about it. So things are getting real intense here at this end game. And you may have realized how the capture number is like glitching out, right? And I thought that this game had glitched out and I had to record the A rank run altogether again because that number is so glitchy. I don't know if you have paid attention to it, but yeah, that number gets glitched out so many times throughout this run. And I thought I had to reset it, but no, that's not the case. The number resets back to normal as soon as we reach the end of the game. Which is, we're really, really close to that end of the game, ladies and gentlemen. All we gotta do is keep an eye out on capturing more intruders. And once we capture Eddie the final time, then that's the end of the game. And I'm just so grateful that by the time that I've reached the end of this. Whew! I felt so relieved. This is by far one of the hardest challenges I've ever put myself through. I've done it once before, but I definitely think I had a hard time here. Anyway, that is the end of Double Switch A-Rank Run. I hope you enjoyed it.
What a rush.
Hi, Dad.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
Eddie, you have caused big trouble for everybody in this building. What do you think we ought to do with him?
Nail him.
Mom! Mommy!
Wait a minute. I believe you have something that belongs to me.
This is a gigantic vault.
Father hid the treasure here in the building, but he never told me the statue was the key. Eddie figured it out.
I love you, Elizabeth.
But darling, do we really have to keep Eddie locked up in the basement?
The end. No, that was not an awkward pause after all, because that's how the game ends originally. Like, I don't know if they were trying to set that up to where it's supposed to be a sequel, if there was supposed to be a second game of Double Switch, but unfortunately I don't think that's the case, because it's been at least a little over 25 years. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, we do have other FMV games that are still ongoing to this day and age, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know if it's anything like Double Switch or Night Trap. And I would like to see something like this return, because I do love playing games like this. I have never found any interest until I've seen that these games have been re-released on Steam. It's phenomenal. I think you should pick it up if you haven't yet. It's a hidden gem. And just like that, rank A, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, that's Double Switch. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough, commentary, whatever. I'm the Blue Hedgehog 2010 for Predators Parley. And as always, happy gaming, my friends.